Kentucky Republican Senator Rand Paul released a trove of journal entries from Dr. Anthony Fauci ahead of his congressional testimony on Wednesday. Paul subpoenaed Fauci to appear as part of the Senate Homeland Security Committee's investigation into the origins of the coronavirus pandemic. The senator has long accused the 85-year-old, who was a lead member of the White House COVID-19 task force, and other government officials of misleading the public and Congress about the source of the outbreak. On Monday, Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. told Fox News about how he obtained the journal entries.
You asked about the diaries, and we produced these. It took us about 8 months to dig these out of 11 separate servers where they had been sequestered and secreted, and we handed them over this week to Rand Paul and Ron Johnson because they already have ongoing investigations and should see this.
For more, let's bring in Arden Farhi. He is the managing editor for CBS News' Washington bureau. Arden, what are your takeaways from the 1,000-plus pages of diary entries?
Yeah, so Lindsay, this covered a time period from late 2019 through 2022. And if you remember back then, that was during the height of the COVID pandemic and also the presidential election during 2020 and the transition from Trump to Biden. And I think most of what's in there is about COVID and the government's response to how they're handling it, case counts, recommendations, policy disputes and debates, sort of routine stuff. But then there's also more than just that Fauci talks about his relationship with Donald Trump, and it's hot and cold. And he gets along with him one day, and Trump is saying something negative about him publicly the next day. There's also a discussion about what you may have heard is called the lab leak theory versus the animal origins of COVID, how COVID came to be. That's a point that I think the committee is going to be very interested in tomorrow. And the third component or fourth component of the diary entries that I thought was most interesting was Fauci's interest in himself as a celebrity. He very closely tracks the TV hits that he's doing each day, the interviews he's doing with newspapers, and so how his notoriety kind of explodes during this period where he's on television and in the public eye almost every day.
And so what else is the goal of this hearing, and what is the overall benefit to the public to be talking about this information?
Yeah, I think this is going to be politics mostly. I think Senator Paul is very interested in digging up dirt and exposing what he says are things that Fauci has done and said that may be called into question. For Democrats, I think Fauci represents something of a hero. He was a voice of reason during a traumatic time during the pandemic. For Republicans, he's the face of lockdowns and mask mandates and vaccine mandates, things that they want to forget. So what you'll see tomorrow, I don't know that we will learn very much about how COVID came to be or anything science related. I think this is really about the politics here.
Arden Farhi, thank you.